Yuri Volkov learned that undefeated doesn't mean unbeatable in 13 seconds. Not because those 13 seconds hurt him. They didn't. That was the problem. 13 seconds where a 305-pound Soviet champion discovered that everything he'd built his career on was incomplete. That strength without understanding is just noise. Moscow, Soviet Union, February 3rd, 1972, Luzhniki Stadium, 12 degrees Fahrenheit, -11 Celsius, the kind of cold that makes breathing hurt. 42,000 Soviet citizens packed into concrete bleachers anyway. International martial arts demonstration, government-sponsored, Cold War cultural exchange disguised as sports exhibition. This demonstration is significant. Soviet Union versus the world, showing that Soviet combat sports are superior. Judo teams from Japan, karate teams from Korea, and one special guest, Bruce Lee, first Western-trained martial artist ever invited to perform in Soviet Union. The outdoor platform is crude. Wooden boards over steel frame, boxing ring ropes marking boundaries, snow cleared but ice remains in corners, breath visible in freezing air, state television cameras recording everything. Yuri, the Viking Volkov, sits in the athlete staging area, wearing his costume, fur draped over shoulders, leather wrapped around arms, ragged cloth around waist, long blonde hair, thick beard. This is his brand, the Viking, undefeated Soviet combat champion. Yuri is 32 years old, 6'3" and 305 pounds, 15 years training sambo and wrestling, 47 official matches, 47 victories, 0 losses. The Viking is undefeated. That's what Soviet sports newspapers say. That's what Yuri believes. The demonstration begins. Japanese judo, Korean karate, polite applause. Then Bruce Lee is announced. Small man walks onto platform, maybe 140 pounds, wearing traditional Chinese kung fu outfit, black fabric with white toggles. No theatrical entrance, just walks to center, bows, begins demonstrating. Bruce shows Chai Sao, sticky hands, arms moving in circular patterns, sensitivity training. To Yuri, this looks like dancing, like ceremony, like something useless in real combat. Yuri watches from staging area, watches Bruce demonstrate trapping techniques, watches cameras focusing on this small Chinese man, getting attention Soviet champions deserve, getting respect for movements that look useless. Yuri stands, walks onto platform, still wearing Viking costume, breath steaming in frozen air, 42,000 people watching, state cameras rolling, Bruce mid-demonstration with student. Yuri's voice cuts across platform. This is not fighting, this is dancing, performance, in real combat, this fails. Platform goes quiet, student steps back. Bruce turns, looks at Yuri, size difference absurd. Yuri continues, speaking to crowd. I am Yuri Volkov, the Viking, undefeated Soviet champion. I challenge this demonstration. Show these people real combat. Soviet officials look concerned. This wasn't planned, but cameras are rolling. 42,000 watching. Can't stop it without admitting loss of control. Bruce speaks calmly. Translated into Russian, you wish to demonstrate. Yuri says, I wish to show difference between dance and fighting. Bruce nods. Then show me. Yuri steps forward, removes fur cloak. Massive shoulders, arms thick with muscle, legs like tree trunks. Drops into sambo stance, weight low, arms ready for grappling. This is what he does. Close distance, grab, control, submit. Bruce stands normally, hands at sides, not a fighting stance, just standing, waiting. Soviet official asks if both want to continue. Yuri says yes. Bruce nods. Official steps back. Snow starting to fall lightly. Temperature dropping. Yuri moves first, shoots forward. Sambo takedown. Fast for his size. Textbook. Get low. Drive forward. Grab legs. Take opponent to ground. This is what Yuri does. This is why he's undefeated. Bruce isn't there. Moved offline. 6 inches left. Yuri's grab finds air. Momentum carries him forward. Bruce's hand touches Yuri's shoulder. Light contact. Redirects trajectory. Yuri stumbles. Catches himself. Resets. Crowd murmurs. The Viking just missed. Clean missed. Against opponent 100 pounds lighter. Yuri attacks again. More aggressive. Combination. Feint takedown. Stand up. Grab for clinch. This worked against every opponent. Yuri commits fully. Bruce moves between the attacks. Not blocking. Positioning his body where Yuri's hands aren't. Yuri's first grab redirected. Second grab finds air. Attempt to clinch stopped by Bruce's hand, touching Yuri's elbow. Light touch, changes angle, disrupts technique. Yuri breathing harder, not from exertion, from confusion. He's attacking, using proper technique, but can't touch this small man, can't close distance, can't establish control. Third attempt, Yuri changes strategy. Pure power, rushes forward, arms wide. Will wrap up Bruce entirely. Use size and strength. When technique fails, overwhelm with force. Bruce doesn't retreat. Steps inside Yuri's rush. Too close for Yuri's arms to wrap. Bruce's right hand touches Yuri's inner wrist. Precise point. Nerve cluster. Yuri's hand opens involuntarily. Bruce's left hand touches Yuri's knee. Specific point on inside of knee joint. Yuri's leg buckles slightly. Weight shifts. Balance compromised. Forward momentum works against him. Can't stop. Can't redirect. Bruce steps aside. Guides Yuri past with minimal contact. Hand on shoulder. Light touch. Just enough to direct already moving mass. Yuri stumbles past Bruce. Catches himself on ring ropes. Breathing hard. Turns around. Stares. 3 attacks. 3 complete failures. 0 contact made. While opponent touched him multiple times. Precise touches that disrupted everything Yuri tried. 13 seconds since first attack. The stadium is completely silent. 42,000 people. No cheering, no talking, just silence. Cold air carrying nothing but Yuri's heavy breathing and Bruce standing calm in center of platform. Yuri straightens, says in Russian. Again, Bruce shakes his head gently, says through interpreter, "You've shown what you wanted to show. These people have seen the difference. More won't change the lesson." Yuri wants to argue, wants to demand another attempt, but 42,000 people are watching, state cameras recording, Soviet officials seeing their champion, unable to touch a man 165 pounds lighter. Continuing only makes it worse. Soviet official steps onto platform, thanks both participants, announces short break. Polite way to end what's becoming embarrassing for Soviet athletics program. Yuri walks off platform, doesn't look at crowd, doesn't acknowledge applause that isn't there, sits down heavily, stares at his hands. The hands that have submitted 47 opponents, the hands that couldn't touch one small Chinese man. Another Soviet athlete approaches. What happened? Yuri says, "I don't know. Every technique proper, but he wasn't there. Every time I committed, he wasn't there." When he touched me, I couldn't maintain structure, like my body didn't obey. After demonstrations conclude, Yuri finds Bruce, speaking through interpreter. What you did, how you moved, that's not in any Soviet training manual. Can you explain? Bruce says, you fight with commitment, full commitment to each technique. That's good against opponents who fight the same way. But commitment means trajectory. Trajectory means predictability. I react to your commitment. Once you commit, you can't change direction. I just position where your commitment isn't going. Yuri asks, how do I defend against that? Bruce says, learn to attack without full commitment. Learn to feel instead of see. Your sambo is excellent, your wrestling is strong, but you believe they're complete. Nothing is complete. Every style has gaps. Only by studying other styles do you discover your own gaps. Yuri says, would you teach me? Bruce says, I'm leaving tomorrow, but I can give you principles. Practice sensitivity drills. Learn to maintain contact while moving. Learn to redirect force instead of meeting it with force. Those principles work with any style. Make your sambo better by understanding what it lacks. They train for 2 hours in empty stadium. Temperature still brutal. Bruce showing Yuri basics of sensitivity training. Yuri struggling. 15 years training his body to use force. Now learning to use minimum force. To feel instead of power through. To redirect instead of meet. Yuri's understanding shifts. The belief that undefeated means complete. That Soviet methods are sufficient. That size equals victory. Bruce didn't defeat these beliefs with argument. Defeated them with demonstration. 13 seconds that exposed every gap in Yuri's training. When Bruce leaves Soviet Union, Yuri continues training. Sambo still primary, but adds sensitivity work. Studies trapping. Learns about nerve points. Learns that combat isn't just proving strength. It's about understanding weakness, both opponents and your own. 3 months later, Yuri faces opponent in official Sambo championship, uses what Bruce showed, doesn't commit fully, feels opponent's intentions, redirects instead of powers through, wins in 90 seconds, shortest match of his career, not because of more strength, because of more understanding. 20 years later, Soviet Union collapses. Yuri immigrates to United States, opens martial arts school in Brooklyn, teaches Sambo, but also teaches what Bruce showed him. Students ask about Bruce Lee. Yuri tells them, I was undefeated, 47 matches, thought I knew combat. Then Bruce Lee showed me in 13 seconds that undefeated means nothing if you've only fought people who fight your way. He didn't hurt me, didn't humiliate me, just showed me I was incomplete. That's teaching, that's mastery. The footage exists in Soviet television archives. 13 seconds of Yuri Volkov, undefeated champion, unable to touch Bruce Lee, 3 attacks, 3 redirections, 0 contact, 42,000 witnesses going silent. Martial arts historians study those 13 seconds, frame by frame, how Bruce read Yuri's commitment, how he positioned offline, how minimal contact created maximum disruption, how he proved effectiveness isn't about strength, it's about understanding. 13 seconds in 12-degree cold. One undefeated champion learning he was incomplete. One martial artist demonstrating that philosophy isn't weakness, that understanding body mechanics transcends size, that the best teacher doesn't defeat you with force, defeats you with precision, then offers to fill the gaps. Yuri Volkov never forgot those 13 seconds, built 40 more years of teaching on foundation Bruce gave him that frozen February afternoon. 13 seconds that changed a career, changed a perspective, changed understanding of what martial arts actually means. Not proving you're strongest, proving you understand what strength actually is.